So I might have to leave Madrid. Let me explain. Hola a todos. Welcome to Madrid. Bienvenido a Madrid. Today, I'm going to be talking about the visa process. I know that's a little boring, but it's relevant because things haven't quite worked out the way they were supposed to, and I may have to leave Madrid, Spain. I may have to go somewhere else for a little bit, mainly because of one stupid little document. I'm going to try to go through this process without getting into the very, very nitty-gritty details because it does get boring. So yeah, after all my preparations, all the paperwork, all the investment, it might not work out because of that one document. And I'm feeling very bummed. I'm also feeling very embarrassed about the whole process. Like, look at me, I'm going to Madrid, and it's not going to work out. There is still a small chance that it's going to work out in the short term, but it's going to work out in the long term, and I'll explain the least boring version I possibly can. Come on. So what is a visa and why do I need it? Well, the nutshell version is that you can't technically just visit another country. In fact, you can't technically move to another country. You need permission. Most countries want to, the least political version of this is most people want to protect their economy. So they're going to control who gets to come here, visit, and eventually move here. So you have to go through the process. In Europe, they have this area, most of Europe is within what they call the Schengen zone, which is an area where they manage the borders together, blah, blah, blah. A lot of countries can come into the Schengen zone, which includes Spain, for 90 days, visa-free. Although technically there's a visa involved, you just don't have to worry about it. Again, a lot of complications, a lot of boring stuff. Basically, you can come here for 90 days unless you find a very specific type of visa that allows you to stay longer, or another type of visa that allows you to move here, or something that will allow you to get a residency. And that's what I'm trying to do, in particular the digital nomad visa. And everything was going well. I went through all I jumped through all the hoops. I submitted all the forms, and like I said, it's one outstanding document, and otherwise I have permission to be here and eventually, move here, become a resident, possibly even a citizen. And with cool sites like this, you could see why. Now, more than likely, you have some questions, like, what did I do wrong? You're gonna have to kind of trust me that I did follow the procedure. I had to get a lot of documents, and not only is there, and again, this is trying to be the non-boring version, but again, there's a timing to it all, right? Like, every document takes a certain length of time to get, and it only has a 3-month validity. So I have to make sure that all the documents arrive within that 3 months, and I have to be in Spain in order to apply for the visa with all my documents in a row. Everything was working out, but then it wasn't, by one document. So what are these documents? Well, they're things like a criminal record check. There are things like proving that I can make enough money, that I'm not going to be a burden onto the citizens of Spain. Totally fair. The extra fun about that is it needed to be notarized, and it needed to be apostilled, some of them, which is an extra special process that is another layer of bureaucracy, which you have to include the Canadian and Spanish consulates saying that this in fact is a real document and the contents are accurate. That's what takes up the most time. I also didn't do this haphazardly. I paid for a move to Spain class. I paid for a lawyer. Paid for a moving expert, basically, to help me settle in and do the paperwork and all that. So it was a big investment. Not to mention, settling in here, buying things for the apartment, those types of things. So, I mean, it is kind of a bummer if things don't work out. I'm now realizing I'm starting to get into the boring nitty-gritty. So let's move on. This is supposed to be good luck, so thank you. So what happened? Well, I think I've mentioned it a couple of times now. It's one document. This document is something that I applied for in October. And it's just something that proves that the company I work for is going to pay into my social insurance, CPP, that kind of thing. Again, just to prove that I'm not going to come here and then, use up resources without working in that, right? Nor am I going to take someone else's job. That's ultimately what it is, right? The problem is, it went into a big black void and it came out for a little bit, and then apparently it's on its way to Spain, and I have no idea where it is. I don't know how long it's gonna take. I don't know if anyone's even looked at it yet. And I don't know when it's gonna get into my hands. My lawyers have volunteered to ask about it, but it's the government, so I don't even know whether they're gonna get a response, So yeah, what is the problem? Well, you remember I mentioned that was 90 days. Well, I got here January 14th. Thought it very poetic to be here on my birthday. Everything was in line. Everything was supposed to happen. But 90 days from January 14th is April 12th. I'm recording this on the last day of March. Actually, it's Easter. Happy Easter. Which means I have 12 days before I have to leave the country. So, yeah, I don't know. I mentioned if this thing happens within this week, I'm good, I think. But yeah, if it doesn't, I have to go home. Luckily, I bought a round-trip ticket. That's a whole nother story. It's actually cheaper to do that than it is to buy a one-way ticket, by the way. And yeah, so I still have my ticket for April 12th. But if this document doesn't arrive in the next week, this week, I gotta prepare to go home or go somewhere else anyway. I don't know. Honestly, I had no idea that you could see the mountains from here. Look at that. I just needed to wait for a clear day. So how am I feeling? Well, thank you for asking. Bummed, stressed, disappointed. But as I mentioned before, probably mostly embarrassed. Look at me, I'm moving to Madrid. And then I gotta, go explain why I'm not moving to Madrid right now anyway. yeah, I don't handle that very well. But that's kind of why I'm doing this video in the first place, is just kind of to confront it. You know, I'm not feeling like I don't want to tell you this at all. But, you know, live in the comfort or live in the discomfort of, and see what happens, you know. Yeah. Give me a second. So what's next? Well, best case scenario, my document comes in this week. Everything goes in under the wire. Second best case is I'm gonna have to leave. And I'll have to leave for a little bit and then come back and start the process over again. And hopefully not have to get too many documents again. But I mentioned that whole 90-day thing, not to get into some excessive math or whatever, but it's 90 days within 180 days. So at this point, if I go away for a month, I can come back for one more month, that kind of thing. If I leave for 3 months, I can come back for 3 months. So hopefully this document comes soon and I don't have to go away for a long time. But of course, there are some worst case scenarios. The second worst case scenario, of course, is that my document comes in, I do the application through my lawyer, and they deny me the visa for some reason. And my brain keeps going there because this whole exercise has really driven into me another issue I have, it's my problem, about not feeling welcome and not feeling like anything's for me. This is like a personal struggle kind of mental health thing, but you know, it is very strong in me, and I've talked about it before in some ways, but I mean, I can't help but have this whole thing trigger me back into that. Like, why is everybody else, you know, getting a visa no problem? Like, you know, why is it a problem for me? You know, and it's not healthy to go to those places because it's nonsense. I can't help myself, but it's, you know, and so I kind of have to push through that. And if I'm being perfectly honest, it's not like this whole thing is stressing me out to the point where I can't sleep or anything like that. But if I do have a moment where I'm not sleeping, this is where my thoughts go, and it keeps me up. It gets me up a little earlier, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm feeling stressed, because I'm not sleeping well. So I guess that's a long-winded way of saying, yes, it is keeping me up. But also it's not allowing me to take full advantage of me being here. Like, I'm not in the right headspace. So one of the things that I need to promise myself is that I've got 12 days. I'm going to make the most of them, and I'm going to have a great time in Madrid, because it might be the last days I'm here for a little while, right? That's probably a good attitude, right? Of course, the worst case scenario that I can think of is that my document doesn't come in. I have to leave for a full 90 days. Then it comes in, I come back to Madrid, and they don't give me the visa. That would suck. I don't even want to think about that. Because yeah, I don't care about money, not really. But I have invested a lot into this. And yeah, I'm enjoying it here. I love it here. Not just Madrid, but like Europe as a whole, you know. Like every time I come here, you know, I've talked about my cholesterol issues and stuff. My numbers go down. I'm healthier. I lost like a bunch of weight. I've been here 90 days. I've lost a lot of weight. Like, I don't know how much because I'm not weighing myself, but I can feel it. you know, like shirts fit a little better, you know, kind of thing, like a lot better. So yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. So I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not giving up. This situation might not resolve itself well, but I'll figure it out. And if this document doesn't work out and this visa doesn't work out, I'm gonna figure it out. I'll do something, right? You know, maybe this is what, you know, leads me to my next adventure, or something along those lines. I don't know. Check out the flowers. They're blooming. Springtime. So, what can you do? Well, nothing really. Positive thoughts would be helpful, in all seriousness. Actually, you know what you can do? If you give this video a like and you subscribe, that would really, really help me out. I'm not suggesting that, you know, I'm using this whole bad situation to elicit some sympathy to get some subscribers, but it'd make me feel better. So no, I'm not done with Madrid, and I don't think Madrid is done with me either. I've got lots of places to go, people to see, things to do, tapas to eat. I'm not giving up until I've done it. Until next time, adios, hasta luego. Bye everyone.